and ready for you. Visit us at Boca Park, the Diamond Store, the official jeweler of the Vegas Golden Knights.
I show up, man. I show up. Fountain Blue, Las Vegas. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Clay Baker, JT. We got Levi Edwards today. We have Jeff Sherman from the Westgate Gambling. We have Lee Sterling. Lee Sterling joining us. As Big D will remind me, he didn't have a good week. Can't tell you who's going to win. I just tell you who I trust. Cisco's there. In Olson, we trust. Yeah, doesn't matter who we trust now, man. Just a matter of finishing the year and trying to win some games and see what happens. I wish it was better, man. I wish it was better.
Call station, Raider Nation Radio 920 JRL Las Vegas. It's the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at the place.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team.
I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, let's go. Let's get the tweet out. Let's get the YouTube going. Let's get some people here live. Let's wake up and get the Raider Nation going today. Hey, man, I'm not saying it's easy. It's really hard right now, but we want to hear from you, and we want to get fired up. And there is a football game against the dreaded Chargers, formerly of San Diego, and now they're in Los Angeles. Inglewood, in the hood, always up to no good. So I hope you're having a good day today. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. A lot of people this time of year are heading out to see family. And I saw some family. A couple of people surprised me the last couple of days. We're doing a low-key Thanksgiving. Wife and I and the boys will be at home. Some neighbors will slide by. Yes, we will have ice-cold Modelo's if you stop by. You know, Clay Baker, I love a good Cabernet Sauvignon. I have a nice taste for a Napa Cab. So I have great Napa Cab, not good in my house. So if you're by, you come by, you like a glass of wine.
Nice
we
robust,
do that around. Yes.
Robust red wine?
Well,
Thank you.
I don't have a problem with wine, but the problem is I have a palate for good Napa wine. And not that I won't drink the $20 stuff, because some of it's really good, but I have a taste for, I don't have a taste in watches. You know, I got nice watches, but I'm not a great, I need the best car, the best watch. I like fine wine when I'm not having my Tito's and Modelo, so we'll be pouring that on Thanksgiving. I was born on Thanksgiving. It doesn't fall this year on Thanksgiving. And that's what, we're going to have a nice family time and then roll on from here and get ready for the Charger game. Clay, what do you have lined up for Thanksgiving? Your son, your family, what are you doing?
Yeah, taking it easy. Of course, when you're from Detroit, the Lions game kind of centers around everything. So we'll be watching that, and then we'll have a nice turkey dinner with my mom, my sister, my niece, my son, and take our time with it. Because when you start that early in the morning, you know, you can't rush into it.
And, you know, I don't want to butt heads with you because we've been friends a long time. I was really down on the Thanksgiving tradition of the Lions.
Yeah,
after 40, 50 years, I'm like, take it off TV.
Yeah.
It's not good. Take it off TV. It's not a tradition that we can't live without. We can't live without Thanksgiving, but we should have been able to live without Detroit and maybe spread it around so Dallas gets Thanksgiving and Detroit. I'd like the Raiders to host Thanksgiving. It'd be easy for us. But now Detroit's good. Detroit's pretty good. And you watch a Detroit Lions game on Thanksgiving, it's entertaining now.
Yeah, normally it'd be like this team has zero chance of doing anything by September. So by November, they're just starting whatever is available. This time around, it's watchable TV, and they're in the hunt because now it's them and the Packers trying to find some sort of wild card stability in an NFC that is no longer top loaded. It is very competitive.
The wild card race in both the AFC, the division races in the AFC and the wild card in the NFC. Let's thank PTs for fueling the monologue. They do an unbelievable job. As you know, 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. You know, PTs is great too on Thanksgiving if you want to get away from your mad uncle or your aunt that kind of gets a little bit loud on Thanksgiving, head on out to PT's, throw a game on. They'd love to have you there. And a quick breaking news announcement with one of our great clients. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men, they have this big blowout. It's the men's spa I've been telling you about. They got a men's spa. So if you want to lose weight, their GLP weight loss product, normally $4.95, it's down to $95. You want to try some hair restoration? That's down from $4.95 to $195 just for Black Friday. And the HydraFacial, if you want to get the facial for men, try it out. It's unbelievable. Only $95, down from $195. Sahara and Fort Apache, tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men. Want to make sure they hear from us too. All right, I just finished Pete Carroll, the interview. Just did. It's amazing I'm able to thread the needle, not with the interview, but to get here in time. If Pete always shows up on time, so if he's running late, I'm going to do the show from headquarters. Gives me an opportunity to get back to here to do the studio, where I'd rather do the show here with Clay so we can kind of get you ready. And the interview with Pete Carroll, you can tell that he is going through a tough time. And he's very much owning everything. He had to fire Chip Kelly, something he never thought of when the season started. Who did? No one thought, look at the money Chip's making. No one thought he was going to make it just this amount of games. They had to do that. They had to fire Tom McMahon, the special teams coach. You never want to do that. You never want to do that. Gino's not playing well. The offensive line gave up 10 sacks. They're not playing well. They gave up a 66-yard screen pass for a touchdown. I asked him about that. What we talked about on this interview, which you'll hear tomorrow, is he really cares a lot about practice. Right? And everybody's having a difficult time understanding this. And so am I. So I asked him, quote, when you have an offensive line that gave up 10 sacks and a defense that gave up a 66-yard play on defense, how hard is practice this week? What's going to change? I asked him it directly, and he told me what I thought he would say. They practice really hard. They have good practices. Most NFL teams do. But if you're not excelling in practice, you're not going to play. So Raider fans, some of the Raider fans don't believe that. Why wouldn't you believe it? He's not lying to us. He just fired the offensive line coach. He's not lying to us. He did fire the offensive line coach. He didn't say, I'm thinking about it. Everything he said this year has been the truth. But you don't like how he's saying it, or you want more people fired. I'm aware of this. I understand the room. You want everybody fired. And then we have a group of Raider fans that don't want to fire anybody. They're like, no, we need continuity. No, you don't. If guys aren't winning, they're going to get fired. It's not a Raider thing. That's pretty much everywhere in the league. So what this does is it confuses the fan base, where the fan base is like, I want everybody fired. No, we're not going to do that. That doesn't work. We're not going to fire everybody. And then we got a portion of the fan base is like, don't fire anybody. Let's have some continuity. No, it's about records and wins and losses and accountability. You might get fired. Everybody might get fired in most of the jobs we all have. It's part of living life. There's going to be some stress. So I can tell with Coach Carroll that he's really disappointed that they're not playing well for you, the fans of the Raider Nation. And I'm here to tell you that. What am I here to do if I can't tell you that? I asked him about Geno Smith and what's happening with Geno Smith. You'll wait to hear that tomorrow. And things aren't going good right now. I think he understood that he had to make the firing of Chip Kelly the priority to get in this week and maybe get the team going again, because he wants to win games. He wants to win games. And are there other coaches who are on the hot seat in that organization? Absolutely. How could you not be? How could you not be? Because there might be better coaches, and there are definitely some position group coaches that are out there that are probably going to wonder when they're going to be let go if the team doesn't get better. So we all know the Captain Obvious stuff. You want to fire his son. He's the dad of his son. I get all that. If you don't think I get that, then get off. Get off me and just go find some other content and someone screaming, fire your son, fire your son. Okay, we're not the firing show, but when someone gets fired, we talk about it. So Chip Kelly goes from, you can say anything you want now about Chip Kelly, he's out the door. We have a level of respect while people are in the building. And then when they leave the building, I respect them. You don't. Most people don't. But I'll listen to you as you vet on those players. And you vet on those coaches. And we're in that role, and we're going to be in that role the rest of the year. And it's going to be a long off season. Long off season. I mean, really long. One of the longest of my entire career. There will not be a longer postseason of what needs to happen next than this one. This is the one. And we're going to be able to do this because we're pros and we know how to run radio shows and provide content and have guests and do all that. But again, I'm not the guy who's hitting the draft the day before, 2 days before Thanksgiving. I get to choose the content, my name on the show, proven myself long enough. I think I know what to talk about. And what I do is I open up the phones. You know, you can't open up Twitter. You can't open up Twitter because you end up getting in wars with people on Twitter because they have beer muscles, they're more aggressive, they're more anonymous. So they say things that are more heinous and aggravating because they don't have to call you or see you at the torch. So they use that to kind of get angry and mad. And I'm good with that. I'm not going to do the blame me thing. Okay, I'm not this year, Clay. I'm not going to do the blame me. I don't need a JT T-shirt hanging out in the Legion Stadium. I blame JT. But if you want to take it out on me, I'm good with that. That's good with that because I'm here. I'm accountable. I know what's happening. I know how bad it is, and I know a lot of the people in the building. I know a lot of the people and what they want to do. But I'm confused like you are. I'm confused why we run it into the pile. I don't get it. My dad even says that, 87 years old. My dad roots for 3 teams. He's a Giant fan. Sorry, we grew up in New York, Giant fans. He grew up a Giant fan. He likes the Jets because he's 87. He doesn't root against the Jets. And he loves the Raiders because his son, that would be me, works for the Raiders. And he said all 3 of the teams I watch and root for have a combined 6 wins. Patriots have 10. The 3 teams, the 2 in New York and the team that I work for, have a combined 6 wins. And I said, I know, Dad. It is tough. It is really tough now. But, you know, I respect Pete Carroll because of his legacy. I'm a big legacy guy. I try to tell people that. I tell that to my sons in general. And I don't want my legacy to be described. I have 3 or 4 jobs. I don't want my legacy to be described. Hey, man, JT did this. No, I did a whole bunch of stuff in my career. When it's all said and done, I want my legacy to be about my longevity and being on Fox and being on Mad Dog and doing the pregame and the coach interview and all that. And some years are hard. And they're really hard. And this is one of the hard ones. Don't worry about me. No one needs to worry about me. No one. Everybody in the chat, how do you do it? 2 people today called me, how do you do it? How do I do it? I'm honored to do it. I go in there, I conduct myself, I ask questions, we provide content, I give opinions. Some of the platforms, I'm a little bit more aggressive with my opinions. Am I more aggressive on this show and this time slot than I am in the building hosting Raiders Rundown with 17 people on the set? Yeah, in the building, that's more of a buttoned-up show. Here's our interview with the player, this or that. When I do Backyard Brick after a couple of Modelos, am I a little bit looser in the pool? Yeah. But the issue becomes you show up every day and you strive to win. And that has never changed with the organization. I'm getting a lot of calls now. People, what does Mark think? What does Mark think? I've answered this a million times. Mark has put his newfound wealth completely into this team to spend as much money possible on all the coaches, all the players, and hiring other people to get it right. That's it. You know, Mark's got friends who play rock music that are going to perform before the game and sit with them. That's never going to change. People have lives. But Mark wants to come out here and he wants to win. And he wants to win, and he wants to win badly. And it's not happening now. So will there be more changes? Absolutely, there are going to be more changes. Absolutely, there's going to be more changes coming up. And I don't have them in front of me today, but there's going to be some changes coming up. And the evaluation process with Pete Carroll, this competition thing, you still see it. They didn't take the billboard down on the 15 competition, compete. That will never change with him. That's never going to change with him. But I think what's an interesting question that you want to know, and you're asking me, and I asked him today, well, wait a second. Hold on a second. You can't tell me this offensive line is practicing good because they're playing horribly, right? You can't watch that product and say it's going right. But what are they doing with practice? They're not practicing in pads most of the time. They're practicing in shorts and shells. They're practicing against each other. They're not practicing against Myles Garrett and Khalil Mack. Everybody's showing up to film. Everybody's showing up to the meetings. Everybody's doing their job, and then the game comes, and everybody looks around, and the offensive line doesn't know what they're doing. So there will be changes, obviously, to the personnel and maybe the coaching. We know that. We cannot put this offensive line out there again. Can't. There's only a certain amount of guys in the building who can play. We're in the evaluation stage still because it's not a great offensive line. They'll have a week of practice, and he'll go out there with the best players. Do I think Caleb Rogers should play every snap? Absolutely, because he's young. But I don't believe that we should put in lesser players and lose games just to get lesser players more experience. They're going to get experience. They're going to play a little bit. But I don't know. We got to look back at this draft class next year and really take a hard look at it and say, were the best players drafted? I think the best intentions were. I mean, Ashton Jeanty, I think, is having a better year than most people think he's having because I'm at every game or watching every game and covering it, and I see when he hits the hole or not. Okay, I can't believe how many plays under Chip Kelly, who I respect Chip before he came here, and I respect him now. I cannot believe how many plays we wasted with Ashton Jeanty running him up the middle. I am shocked on how many times we took a play and gave it away. We knew we couldn't block. We don't have the center and the guards who can dominate and block. And we're running the ball right up the middle. Why? Why? I have no idea. I have no idea why that is happening. Now, you got to run the ball, and I think they're going to run it a lot against the Chargers. But don't run it up the middle. How much more can I say of that and get you to understand that I mean this without my head turning purple? You can't waste plays. Every time we, Raider Nation, waste the play, we are dead. Because then we're 2nd and 9 and we're 3rd and 15 and we're behind the sticks. So I cannot believe through this many games how many times we line that guy up without a fullback. Don't get me going on that topic. I got a couple of alumni. I will not mention their name on how we don't have someone blocking for Ashton Jeanty. That'll be for a podcast. And we run it up the middle and we waste the play. We waste the down. We just waste it. We're telling the other team, we're running it up the middle. You're going to stop it. We're going to let the clock run and we're going to let you rest. And then we're going to run our second play under duress because we wasted first down. Greg Olsen can't do that now. He can't. We've done it too much. It's not working. We've got to get the kid out on the perimeter. More swing passes, more screens. Number 2, we got to play faster because the clock is our enemy. The clock is the enemy of the Las Vegas Raiders under multiple regimes. Multiple regimes look at the clock and there's no comment, no sense of urgency. They take the full play clock, they let it run down, and we're always trailing, always losing, and we're always chasing the clock. So maybe Greg Olsen plays faster. We don't move the pocket. Why? Geno's not a cripple. He's not in a wheelchair. We actually believe, well, the coaches believe he should still play. Good topic. So why don't we move the pocket with Geno? Why aren't we sprinting him out to the right? Why aren't we making it easier for him? Don't know. I've asked, can we make Geno more mobile? It's fallen, to me, at least no one's fixing that. Chip Kelly's fired. Greg Olsen might fix it. So there's only a few things left we need to do, and that's really the focus of the show. What we're going to talk about today and tomorrow, and then I'm off for a couple of days with Thanksgiving, is we're going to talk about what you want to see going forward. A topic that I'm not strong at because it normally opens up the floodgates for stupidity. It really does. It brings a lot of people, and not you, the great callers and those who want to help the show and want to bring in some content and do all this. But the topic is a tough topic. What do you want to see next? Because then you get people in the chat, get rid of the owner, get rid of the kid's son, get rid of everybody, and then it just causes stupidity and anger, and it's like kerosene on a fire. So if you're ready to talk about what you think needs to happen next without calling me and saying lose on purpose, losing's more important than winning, and stuff like that, because I'm not good with the stupidity index. I'm not a really smart guy, but I know how to read the room. And we got to act cordial. We got to find ways to compete. We got to find ways to win. There's a lot of Raider fans that got a lot of money out on these tickets on the road and at home. God, we're about to go into a gauntlet. We are into a gauntlet of the teams coming up, a gauntlet of teams that want to kick our ass back to next week. And it's about playing for pride. Chris in West Oakland starts us off as he normally does on the flagship. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, JT. Yeah, you're right about playing for pride. And mid-November, talking about going forward, what are we looking for isn't ideal. But since you asked the question, here's what I'd like to see going forward. Everything's an evaluation process. From the head coach on down. That doesn't mean I'm sitting here calling for Pete Carroll's job, but he loves competition. This is competition the rest of the way. See what we have going forward. And listen, all due respect to Chip Kelly, and I'm not going to sit here and throw stones like a lot of people. It's just a combination of things. I wasn't a fan of the play calling, but to be fair, I don't think he had a whole lot to work with. He's proved in college and even other stops in the pros, when he's had talent, his offense has worked well. So I wish Chip Kelly luck wherever, like you said. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I know he tried. I know he did his best. Nobody went out there trying to fail and, won't make it personal. I just wish Mr. Kelly the best of luck wherever he goes. But as far as going forward, Jake, listen, on the broadcast, Pete Carroll, they were talking about interviewing Pete Carroll about playing younger players. Pete Carroll said, hey, that's not me. I'm not going to go out and play younger players just to play younger players if they're not as good. That's fine. I get that, and I get that going forward because he likes to compete. However, it puts an even bigger spotlight on whether it's Spytek, whether it's Tom Brady, whoever's handling the draft. We've got to find players that are good enough to get on the field if that's the case. So far, you've got to admit, this draft class hasn't given us a whole lot. And to be fair to Aston, he's just getting the crap kicked out of him on a regular basis. I'm with you. I got no problem with Aston Denty. And when he's been given room to run, he's telling you why the Raiders have drafted him where they did. So going forward, I believe that, find out with this draft class, because the real test of the Raiders is going to be how we do finding these hidden gems in the third, fourth, fifth round. You got to hit on your high picks, which hopefully they draft a quarterback next year. But let's just say Spytek for now, since he's the general manager. We've got to go out and find some guys in the draft that force their way onto the field. It leaves no doubt that they belong on the field, not just put them out there because they're young and we want to see what they can do. And I'm going to leave you one other thing, man, before I get, because I wanted to call this my last one before Thanksgiving. I know Mark Davis has taken a lot of shots in the media, a lot of shots from the fan base. I'll say this about Mark Davis. As a fan of the age, and some bad teams with cheap, bad owners. Say what you want about Mark Davis. He's not cheap. Yes, he hasn't necessarily made the right moves. He hasn't hired the right people, but it's not for a lack of trying. And one thing I will always give Mark Davis credit for, if he has to blow it up and try it all over again, he's not scared to, because unlike a lot of owners that are only there to cash a check, and I know the Raiders moved to Vegas and put him in a different stratosphere as far as cash, Mark Davis wants to win. Now he just has to figure out how to go do it. But I've got no problem with an owner that's willing to spend money, willing to burn money, willing to throw money away, all in the name of winning. And I do believe Mark Davis deserves a little credit for that. Thank you, my friend. Listen, happy Thanksgiving to you and the family, to everybody out there in Raider Nation land. Be safe with some turkey, cigars, and Crown Royal, my friend. And I'll talk to you next week, brother.
Chris,
later.
thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Always appreciate you. Longtime friend of mine and inside the Raider Nation. Thanks so much for that. As we open it up, 702-365-9200 on what you want to see heading into the Charger game. Because this is an important one. I know what you want to see in the offseason. I think the Raiders should take a quarterback high. I think they got to spend all their money smart in free agency. They got to bring in 3 offensive line starters, which is going to be fun to see. I can't wait for them to bring in some offensive line starters. That's definitely going to happen. That's a guarantee. As Barkley would say, guarantee. It's a guarantee the Raiders are bringing in 2 to 3 new starters on the offensive line. No debate. That's a lot. So I want to see that too. And we'll go from there. But the Charger game's interesting to me because a lot of times when you fire a coordinator or a coach, there is always, almost always a response from the team to play better. And that response should come here for Greg Olsen on the offense. And I think hopefully it goes over to the defensive side and Patrick Graham can get a little bit more out of Max and the entire unit there.
Yeah, the response can be an identity for a team that hasn't had an identity on offense. What we know about Greg Olsen is that he's been a product of the West Coast offense, especially when this last stint with John Gruden.
Right.
So this is somebody that's going to have Geno underneath the center, not shotgun as much, to be run heavy. but getting rid of the ball quicker. And perhaps that is the quickness of the offense that you have been longing for, and so have I. But I think Greg Olson can unlock that.
This is the worst Raiders offense I've ever seen. Now, not with Greg Olson. He hasn't coached yet. But under Chip Kelly, who's got a track record as an offensive coordinator and been successful at multiple spots, this is the worst offense I've ever seen in Raiders history. Way before I got here in 98. Team started in 1960. As I explained to one of the young kids in the building today, the early years of the Raiders before Al Davis, the early years of the AFL, there was a bad season or two mixed in. Okay. I won't include that because it was the birth of the franchise when you started. But from the 11 Angry Men in the championship of 1967 to the Super Bowl appearance and the loss to the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl II, the Raiders were really successful in the 60s, 70s, 80s, AFC championship game in the 90s, 2000s when I got here, 2 AFC championship games and a Super Bowl appearance through the 2003 Super Bowl, right? You got the Jack Del Rio 12-win team, some 8-8s thrown in there. But for the last 25 years, 23, 24 years, you had the brunt of the Raiders teams that have struggled. Okay, there's a couple more sprinkled in, but we're doing macro, not micro here. This is the worst of the worst offenses I've ever seen because those other offenses were able to run a play. They would throw it deep in completion, right? They would move the ball a little bit better. This offense has not been able to do anything at any time. So now Greg Olson comes in knowing that. I mean, he's the coach. He's in the meetings. And he gets an opportunity to get it going. And maybe get it going here. Now, is there a way to get it going? Sure. You got Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. You got a couple of good players there. Gino, can he play badly in every game? And where I disagree with the coach and a couple of people is, there are games where people want to give credit for Gino playing okay. I'm not doing that. I haven't done it on this broadcast. I think Gino's played poorly all year long. I do. I think he's been great being accountable. The last incident with the fans were unfortunate. He's going to have to address that, not me. He's going to have to address his behavior with the fans. That's a big topic. Let him do that. He did it, not me. I don't support what he did. But, the Raiders got to show up against the Chargers. And they haven't shown up in games lately. Now, they had some competitive games, but the last couple of them have been really rough to watch. That's the monologue as we wrap it up here and continue. I want to thank all of our great friends. What a proud partner we have in Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas. They're coming off F1, the KISS Cruise, a lot of big events that they were able to pull off there. So hopefully you got a chance to swing by there. Appreciate Cliff Atkinson and what he's doing there. So we're ready to roll today. Here's what we got. Lee Sterling at 12:45, Jeff Sherman at 1:15, Levi Edwards at 1:30, and we'll hear from you on X at JT the Brick, JT the Brick LV on Insta. And now when I go, I'm right here in the chat, live in the chat until we come back on YouTube. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I got a text from Shane Leckler thanking me for helping him, or at least supporting him on the push, but he did not make the semifinal list for the Hall of Fame. He did not make it. So that's unfortunate.
At 7 p.m.
Fort Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. All right, man. Let me get into this with you. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours, too. Yeah, we have offensive line problems. There's no doubt about it. Family fight for yours. Raiders weren't stupid for letting Minshew go. Minshew played terrible too. Minshew was really bad at times too. It was time for him to go. Time for him to go too. Hall of Fame voting has a committee. They have Hall of Fame voters, members of the media, that vote from every stage forward. And the semifinal list is out, and it's pretty strong. A lot of good players on that list. Yeah, when you say Gino conduct detrimental to the team, I don't support what he does, and I don't condone it. But he didn't throw a punch. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't beat someone up in the parking lot. Give me a break. He was emotional after the game. What he did is unacceptable. I don't condone it, nor do the Raiders. But again, it was a lot worse than what he did, and what he did was not good. Yeah, I know. Raiders need a number one receiver that would help out Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. Yeah, I think Gino might have, Gino should apologize, I think, but the Raiders are off today. Today's the off day. Go to career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. Do the Raiders dare try to acquire Shedeur? I don't think Shedeur is going to be available from Cleveland. I don't. And I like Shedeur. I don't think he's the answer. Or Kyler Murray. I watched Kyler Murray play in college, and he went to the same school my son went to. Kyler Murray's a hell of an athlete, but he's expensive. He's expensive. And if you're not going to stick with Gino, you got to pay Gino off, and then you got to pay Kyler Murray. That's a lot of money. But Mark's been spending a lot of money and doing what he has to do.
5 years. It's easier to buy fun.
Oh.
Store is ready for the season and ready for you. Visit us at Boca Park, the Diamond Store.
Man, I just got new emails.
Out.
Really sucks. Terrible boss, and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, 12:30 tomorrow, Clay.
Interesting. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck who offers small classes with night and weekend times available. Truck, the letter U, LV.com. Truck.
I like Jameis Winston,
Count and earned one of the highest rates.
Here's a guy making fun of the Pete Carroll family, making it personal, right? So what do we do? What do we do when guys make it personal? Guess they didn't hear me.
Time you open a bonus checking account today and start earning more interest. Because if someone's making money off your checking account,
Okay, Raider G, here we go.
By American Share Insurance.
Give thanks for
I like the delete button, man. The delete button's good.
basically Thanksgiving in every bite. No leftovers, just
Timeout, yes.
To the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Nicasta Verde Log Rooms. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Gino's under center with Ashton Genty behind him. Tyler Lockett split out wide left. Powers and Thomas to the right. Gino's going to roll right. His eyes towards the back of the end zone. He dumps it. Genty at the line.
to be a very realistic possibility, then you got to throw the ball. You got to use play action. I know they weren't running the ball effectively, but they used more of the play action. And I think that still helps somewhat. It's better to have that than just to drop back into shotgun, things like that. I think if you can't run it, you have to come up with something that will work, right? It's the X's and O's versus Jimmy's and Joe's deal. But, you know, I think that they're going to be as bad as what we've seen. I think that I am hopeful that they can show some progress and play better. That'll actually make me feel better. If they show some kind of progress, and they don't have to be a top 10 offense, but they look like they're a NFL caliber offense, and that's improvement to me because at least it shows some of those guys on the line may be better than what they've shown us on film so far.
Yep. Thanks for the call. Excellent phone call. There's someone trying to help the problem out here. Appreciate it. Opens up a line for you. 702-365-9200. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see a completely new offensive line. Clay, what I'd like to see is Caleb Rogers in there. I can't imagine him having a bad week of practice when he was warming up to get in the game. I can't imagine him coming into the building tomorrow and not being prepared to play. If you want to put Meredith back at center because we kept JPJ out of there, and now you want to move him back, just give me a new look on the offensive line. Switch it up completely. I don't care if you move DJ Glaze to guard or left. I don't care what you do. If you wanted to move Dylan Parham out, just change the offensive line and let's see if the new offensive line works better.
I want to play you a cut from yesterday's press conference where he was asked about that, and there were two little clues in his statement that made me think that it might not be a new look on the offensive line. Take a listen.
Well, we got the guys we got, you know, and so we're going to continue to have our guys battle to show what they can do and how their play time and what they earn, you know, during the week.
All right, stop right there. He's said that the last couple of weeks too. All right.
He means that. As we know. Vinny's fighting that world. I'm fighting it. You are. We're all on the radio. We cannot take his words and change his words. He means who's ever best at practice, he's putting out on the field, and all Raider Nation's like, what's he talking about? That's what he is. Yeah. That's what he told me today. They got practice evaluation here, but I would think that if the guys practice all reasonably well, switch it up a bit. Let's see if other guys can play and move over and just play with more confidence.
Here's the other part of that makes me feel that maybe they stick with what his philosophy is than taking a look at something different.
Trying to get everybody connected with really the approach and the philosophy that really I've stood for a long time. And so, you know, it gave our guys a lot of leeway because of the respect that we have for the coaches, but it just hasn't quite gotten right, and I think we can do better.
So some of that is the win now philosophy that he's always been breeding since the beginning, but the tail end of that almost made me feel like, well, maybe there's some room for hope that, all right, we can't keep going on with the same lineup because we get the same results.
The interesting part about this conversation is we know there's going to be a new offensive line. So there's going to be a new offensive line next year. So if you want these guys to play out the year, I think I was listening to your show this morning, and you had a guest on, and you were talking about Geno's owed $18 million next year, and Vinny was saying, well, he might, because of the money, be here. I don't want to put words in his mouth, and if the Raiders draft a young quarterback, he'll be the bridge for the first 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, $18 million cash.
$8 million in cash. That could be what's happening next year. I don't know if they're going to eat $18 million and tell Geno he's not going to play because some fans don't want Geno to play. There are financial decisions that are made, especially when you're firing a whole bunch of coaches that cost as much as quarterbacks in this league, if you add up all the money here. So I don't know what they're going to do. But all I can do as the radio talk show host is say the offensive line isn't very good, mix it up, play people at different positions, and then on top of that, the quarterback has got to be on a smaller leash. He has to be. I mean, he has to be. You know, when people are sitting here and asking what to do, what do we do with Geno? There's only one guy who knows what's going on with Geno in season. That's Pete Carroll. I asked him the question. He likes Geno. He's going to play him. He's loyal to Geno. So that's it. The guy in the offseason who could maybe help with that decision will be Tom Brady. They're going to hire probably. I like Greg Olson a lot, but if they bring in a new coach on the offense, if he likes Geno or not, and that coach, this is Captain Obvious stuff, the coach who's going to be offered the offensive line position most likely might not take the job. Might say no. Unless you can prove to me you're going to spend money on the offensive line and get rid of the quarterback and let me bring in the quarterback and help with that, I don't want the job. That could be happening, but we don't know yet because this is in progress. They got a game coming up. They got a really important game coming up with the Chargers because playing the Chargers is important. Historically, all-time record against the Chargers, it's important to keep the Chargers down. My big victories this year, because the Raiders season from the playoffs is long gone, would be Denver getting eliminated as soon as possible in the playoffs. That's my big thing. Denver getting eliminated. I am so fractured by Kansas City's success with the Swifties. I know that if they get into the playoffs, they're probably going to win some games. And then I would hope at all costs, that the Chargers don't make the playoffs. But I think they will. I think you'll see all three teams in the playoffs. Denver looks like they're going to win the division. Kansas City might sneak in. And the Chargers, if they beat the Raiders to go to 8-4, they're only 2 games away from going to the playoffs. They're probably going to go 2. And then we'll just root for them in the offseason. And I'm going to be breaking down playoff games with other teams. I won't be breaking down the draft. You won't hear more than 5 seconds of me talking about the draft from January 1st to Super Bowl Sunday. You won't. I'm going to the Super Bowl. We're doing the show from there. Everything is planned, and we're going to be talking football. And if there is breaking news on a coach or a hiring or a player, we'll get into that. And we'll be excited. We'll have big draft coverage. We thought we just had big draft coverage, didn't we? I thought all the work we did with the draft, the Raider draft party at the Palms, all the players that were there, everything we did, we felt pretty good about the draft when they took Ashton. It was one of the loudest crowds I've ever stood in front of a microphone with. Eric Allen and I came out on stage when we drafted Ashton Genty. I couldn't hear myself. It was that loud. We got Brock Bowers. Some good players, man, but we need a lot more players out there. All right, coming up next, Lee Sterling is going to give you 3 games for free. And Lee got beat last week, so he'll want to bounce back, and he says he's ready to go. The games they'll have is Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Ohio State, Michigan, and the Eagles and the Bears, all for free, coming up on the other side. And you want to be a part of that, please. Boyd Gaming, 10 properties here in the Valley for the locals, always bet on black. They're a proud partner of the Raiders. We thank Boyd Gaming for everything they do with our show, with all their proud casinos throughout the Valley.
Here's what you missed on.
I don't think Gino's always been a crybaby, always crying. No, he hasn't. That's not fair. He's not always crying. If you want to criticize Gino for flipping off the fans, there's nothing wrong with that. Golden Knights, every time I look up, are playing poorly too.
Chevy trucks have you covered. The road takes you from smooth sailing.
Trayvon Merrick kicked a player in the balls. Suspended 1 game. Yep.
Performance and capability.
See, Alex is saying Gino cries to Pete. You don't know Gino, you don't know Pete. That's stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, bet after placing your first qualifying wager, the Nevada Mobile Sports app allows you to bet on the go from any iPhone.
Gino tatted on me and got me a game misconduct warning. Ooh.
Just plays you can't help. Like when featuring on all major sports.
Oh. I played rugby for 4 years in college with a bunch of tough guys. No one ever punched anybody in the balls. And rugby's rougher because you have a lot less equipment on. A lot less.
That would carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at the Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castroverde brothers, and we have your back.
What some of you gentlemen do, the men, not the women, if Gino, you were sitting at the bar and Gino walked in. What do you think you do? I think you do nothing. I think you do 0. That's what I think. And I think the world of a lot of people here. But for some of the ones who I don't know, who are, calling Gino personal names right here. So we'll ban this guy too. Where's the Bricktator, my son? Where's the Bricktator? Let's get the Bricktator going.
Let's play.
Cake for the holiday. So
I finished the American Revolution today on PBS, Clay. Who doesn't know that fun fact about me?
Good. I hope it's better than a lot of the other Revolution stuff. Tim Burns does such a great job. But I always go back to the Charles Kuralt American Revolution documentary from 1990. It's on YouTube. It's like it's 7 hours long.
Really?
Great. So I know it's going to be good like that. And we talk about some of those great stories about the battles in New York.
Yeah. Battles in New York were amazing.
One that was fought around Brooklyn and Jackson Heights.
Yeah. Brooklyn Heights. Yep.
Yeah,
Right there.
the battle kept moving and a lot of bodies just laid there. And as a British diary, a soldier in the journal wrote, the wolves came out of the woods and started eating the half dead bodies. He's like, what kind of hell are we in? What kind of world are we in?
That's one of the early battles in the Revolutionary War that Washington was pinned down in Brooklyn Heights. And if it wasn't for the fog coming in and getting everybody off Brooklyn to that, it was crazy.
See what
person based on heating systems, conventional and provides your choice for heating cooling needs. It's at summerbuyheatingcooling.com today. Purchase details.
Any things we can beat the Bolts. Yep.
Hey, it's Clay with GT the Brick. How's it going, Lee?
Look at Black Suede calling Gino soft. Black Suede, if Gino walked into the bar and you were there, you would be scared to death to say that to his face. Black Suede. Look at Black Suede, another tough guy, calling someone a personal name who will never, ever, 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 ever meet that person. Unreal. Okay, we got Lee ready?
It's back with the New York Giants. Last week, the Giants came up short in overtime, shot at upsetting the Lions. Now they play spoiler again, taking on the hottest team in the league, the 10-2 Pack.
Well, if you didn't do that, then I apologize. I thought you did.
Monday night on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Rolls out to his right, eyes downfield, pressure coming, settles, stop, open man. Oh man, is he open inside the 40? Judy has the ball poked out. It's on the turf at the 24, and the Raiders pounce on it. Judy slowed off like he was looking for a blocker. Jeremy Chin punched it out of there, and Landon Robert pounced on top of it.
Nice play there. Good hustle play there. JT, back with you as we continue on. We're brought to you by the Fountain Blue. They have the Hall of Excellence. That's the collection of Tom Brady. Also, Jim and Fran Gray. If you haven't been there yet, it is mind-blowing. It's incredible. It's the best Hall of Fame exhibit I've ever seen. And I've been to all the great Hall of Fames. And on top of that, you get Fountain Blue. The elegance of their dining, their sports book, their pool, their nightclubs, everything they do there. So if you're looking for a reason to get out over the Thanksgiving holiday and try something new that you haven't, head on out to the Fountain Blue, to the Hall of Excellence. Tell my buddy Howie Deneroff that I sent you there. They greatly appreciate it. And you will thank me for going there. It's that great. Plus, you'll get the Fountain Blue. Lee Sterling joins us. We're going to get him back on track this week and get him rolling again. And Lee, I know you got games coming up, college and NFL, in and around Thanksgiving as you spend time with your family.
Oh, yeah. Great time of year. And I actually had dinner with, you'll remember this name, all-time great for the Miami Dolphins, Dick Anderson last night. Good friend of the family. So, name from the past. And we were even talking about some of the great rivalries. And who did he mention first? Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders, and having to face Fred Biletnikoff, your good friend, and also Mel Branch he said those two guys were a thorn in his side.
Yeah, Cliff and Fred were unbelievable players back then, and Anderson, one of the all-time greats. Let's get into the games for today. Tennessee -2.5, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt really built that program back nicely, and they're still hanging around here and have been a nemesis to a lot of teams already. We know Tennessee probably has better 5 stars than 4 stars because it's Tennessee over Vandy, but I like the way Vandy's been coached.
Yeah, they're coached extremely well. And last year at home, tried to match up with Tennessee, had a problem here. The score was 36-23, but they were dominated at home, 528 to 212 total yards. Now, different quarterback. Obviously, Nico moved out, and Joey Swagular moves in here for Tennessee. Tennessee, fast-paced, 13th fastest-paced offense with 73 plays per game here. Vanderbilt likes to slow it down, 126 in the country to 61 plays. They don't have the depth that Tennessee has, doesn't have the guys up front here. Diego Pavia is going to have some game, and I think they're going to have to be +2 in turnovers or better to have a chance here. I think they've closed the gap. I just think Joey Swagular is the difference here at home. Give me Tennessee, 35-28.
35-28, big number. Tennessee wins and they cover the spread. All right, well, once again, back to the game. I think it's going to get hurt, Ohio State, Michigan, because many years going forward, this isn't a must-win game anymore. Michigan wants to win for obvious reasons. Ohio State wants to win because it's a rivalry game, but it won't hurt them in the playoff push other than maybe a home playoff game. Ohio State, a big favorite on the road.
Yeah, and a 10-point spread here. Michigan's style is one that is fully capable of giving Ohio State trouble. Last year, when Ohio State was giving up just 6 yards per carry on the ground, gave up 172 and over 4 yards per carry in that game. This year, 2.6 yards per carry again, but I think they're better suited to stop Michigan. Michigan also without their top running back, Justin Haynes, who runs with reckless abandon. So we'll have to go with some backups there. And Michigan really hasn't faced any great offenses yet. Only one good defense in Oklahoma, and they lost 24-13. They were outstatted by 130 yards in that game, and they were even +2 in turnover ratio, but couldn't get the job done here. I think the three-headed monster here, the Ohio State great receivers led by Jeremiah Smith, just too much. I think Ohio State pulls away 31-16.
Yeah, that's. Do you agree with the way the playoff is set up now that it's just going to maybe take a little bit something out of the game, or you just think that's such a big rivalry it'll always be big?
That one is just so big. I mean, losing 4 straight to Michigan, I think Ohio State will be geared up and ready to go. But it's just weird. You know, it used to be that game you had to win it, you know, to get in the playoffs. Now, it just depends on the seeding. But there's so much bad blood. You remember one time, Bo Schembechler, I think he was driving through Ohio and he ran out of gas. And the story goes, he pushed his car 6 miles back to Michigan.
Lee Sterling joins us. Go to ParamountSports.com. Right into Thanksgiving. He's got deals galore. ParamountSports.com. Let's get to the NFL. Eagles -7 against the Bears. Bears are winning games. There's a lot of negativity around the Eagles and their offense and how inept they are, especially with all the 3 and outs. These are the world champs, and they're getting questioned by their own fans about their offense.
Yeah, something's not right. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley, not the same this year. Offensive line, obviously not as good. The only thing that's working as well is the tush push. And look at the Chicago team and their players, cornerbacks, Nashawn Wright and Tariq Evans. These guys are big, physical corners. They're not afraid to take on guys, and they also will jump routes of late. And the offensive line, which was absolutely horrendous last year, the center, Drew Gallman, rated number 3 by Pro Football Focus. You got to be strong in the middle. Take on those 2 massive, hard-charging defensive tackles. And both guards, Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, rated 10th and 12th overall at the guard position. They were almost dead last their entire line last year. I like it. Chicago. We're going to go with a wrong team favorite here. I think the Eagles, they got problems after that 21-0 lone lead. Take the Bears straight up 24-21.
It'd be a massive win for the Bears if they can pull it off, and they're playing that way. And very unique game of the week for you. You were texting me about J.J. McCarthy's struggles. And Seattle seemed to bounce back. I love Seattle's secondary. That's a big number they're laying. Seattle, an 8.5-point favorite.
We're going to see what happens. Vikings are turning now to the third string quarterback. We're going to see if he can handle one of the toughest venues. Seattle laying 8.5. First 5 callers get Seattle and the Vikings for free. 800-400-9741. How about this? Our world famous turkey shootout. 15 games from Thanksgiving Day to Sunday, not $297 or even $197 from last year, $97 for 15 games. And we've had one 14-1 record on it, a couple 13-2, 12-3, and 11-4 records. How do you hop on board? Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Thank you, Lee. ParamountSports.com. Those free plays are big. Try out Lee Sterling. I've been recommending people for him for over 20 years. ParamountSports.com. Lee, you and your family have a great holiday. There he is. Lee's gone. Yeah, I hope he has a great Thanksgiving. I've met Lee's family a number of times. Very good people. Someone I trust here. Someone will give you good information. If he doesn't win, he'll tell you about it. It's all put up there. There's a lot of sharps in the business now getting shrapnel for not being transparent. That guy is. And then coming up in 15 minutes, Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management. He'll tell you where the money's going in a couple of these big games coming up here. I think the Thanksgiving card looks tremendous overall. Looks great. We're going to have a great day watching football on Thanksgiving. That is absolutely for sure. I can promise you with that. Okay, what are we doing next? We're thanking Tito's, my go-to handmade vodka. Tito's, proud partner of the show. Go have a Tito's over Thanksgiving weekend. Drink and drive responsibly. Hour number 2 next.
Hits again. On October 15th, Robert hits.
All right, we'll do another monologue here, Clay. I will give you a couple of those 3 bites we didn't play, did we?
Consult you with Gambler's Bonus. It's why you play the game.
It's turkey, stuffing, cranberries, and rosemary Swiss bread. Basically, Thanksgiving in every bite. No leftovers, just gratitude. Now, at BoardOfSubs.com or your local Board of Subs.
Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. This is JT for the Black Hole, home to football's most notorious fans. The Black Hole Fan Store is now open Fridays through Sundays inside the world-famous Golden Nugget Resort Casino on Fremont Street. This isn't just a store, it's the official Black Hole Fan Store. One-of-a-kind apparel and merchandise created by the fans for the fans. And Black Hole members save 20%. Join now at theblackhole.com. Once a member, always a member.
Make sure you tune into the JT The Brick Show every Thursday afternoon here on Raider Nation Radio 920 to hear from head coach Pete Carroll as JT sits down for an exclusive one-on-one conversation. That conversation is brought to you by Cox. Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Black Friday starts now at Centennial Subaru. Don't wait. Get as low as 0% financing on all remaining 2025 Subaru Crosstracks and Outbacks. That's right, 0% financing, but only while supplies last. These deals are happening now, and once they're gone, they're gone. And remember, don't confuse us with the other guys. We're Centennial Subaru, the largest Subaru location in Southern Nevada, located right at US 95 and Ann Road. Get here fast. Black Friday starts now at Centennial Subaru.
See your Vegas Golden Knights on Wednesday, December 17th against the New Jersey Devils in the Party Deck, presented by Sire Spirits. The Party Deck is where all the off-the-ice excitement happens. From the Knights Castle to the Night Line. Tickets in the Party Deck are standing room only. Tickets start at just $39. Go to VGKTicketExchange.com for all the info. That's VGKTicketExchange.com. Sponsored by Westar Credit Union and Centennial Subaru. Result test for Army's Brand tickets can order by all 48 hours before the game.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade, your career.
Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This holiday season, choose brilliance that lasts forever at the Diamond Store. Discover the largest selection of loose, natural, and lab-grown diamonds, plus the newest jewelry styles. So that everyday prices better than any other sale in town. 0% financing up to 5 years. It's never been easier to find fine diamonds.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good ideas. Because there's not a lot of
County Credit Union High Yield Bonus Checking Account and earn one of the highest rates.
We are back. We are back. All right, so let's get into this monologue. Let's get out to our next two guests.
That's to banking at CCC. Time you. But a bonus
Yeah,
checking
no
account
worries. Well,
today
we can mention it.
interest, because if somebody's making money off
93, we appreciate the money. You know, your sly ass McDonald's comment was fun. I appreciate it. You're back. I don't know how you're back. I put you in timeout. Did your timeout end? I thought your timeout was going to last a little longer than that.
One of my expectations, we're going to win a bunch. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I want to play harder and longer than the guy lining up across, team lining up across from me. And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders move in. But I expect excellence every day.
And now here's JT the
All right, hour number 2 of the show. We got a show coming up tomorrow, Wednesday. You're going to hear my conversation with Pete Carroll. Our Lincoln Kennedy segment, we'll have that. We'll have a live guest in here, I believe. And then I'm off for a couple days. We're off for Thanksgiving and Friday. And then Monday, the 3630 Foundation, as we try to raise money for police officers for their mental health. And you won't believe the amount of police officers who take their life in retirement. So I teamed up with the 3630 Foundation, and December 1st, we have our golf tournament at Dragon Ridge. It's sold out. A lot of good prizes and a lot of good live action auction items. I'll be emceeing it after the golf, and I'm looking forward to that. So Vinny Bonsignor will be in for me Monday. So I got a couple of days out of here, one of them to raise money for a great cause, which is a passion of mine. So last show today, got an hour today and tomorrow. Big update, former Raider Trayvon Merrick suspended for the low blow, the dirty hit. He hit someone in the area where you never want to hit him at, and he did it. 1 game without pay for striking San Francisco 49er wide receiver Juwan Jennings in the groin area, which it wasn't the groin area, it was the private area. Merrick is appealing the penalty. He told that, a source said to Adam Schefter, Merrick's appeal will be ruled upon by either Derek Brooks, how about that, or Jordy Nelson, the hearing officers jointly appointed by the Players Association. Remember, he left the Raiders for a lot of money. If they take a game check, it's a lot of money. So that's what happens here. We had an incident the last 2 weeks. Last night, a guy gets punched right in the private area and lost his mind over it. And then we saw Jamar Chase spit in the face of Jalen Ramsey. Come on. Like, go play the game and don't do this. So that's a storyline that's trending today. Carolina looked awful. Christian McCaffrey played well. I thought McCaffrey looked really good. Man, we're trying to get Ashton Jeanty to the line of scrimmage so he can break a tackle and make a play. But what about the play of Christian McCaffrey? The Niners' only chance to win is McCaffrey because Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions in the first half. The Boo Birds were raining down in Santa Clara. Did you notice that? And I also loved on Monday Night Football, they showed these beautiful shots of the city of San Francisco. They don't play in San Francisco anymore, everybody. They play in Santa Clara, which is nowhere near San Francisco. So whenever they show the war for the cable cars, I laugh. No, they don't play there. They play in Santa Clara. But the Niners still have a puncher's chance. They really do. They have a puncher's chance to go out there and do something. I don't know what they'll do, but the Niners, if they get into the playoffs, and some of it will have to do with their schedule, which is an easier schedule, they're going to be feeling pretty good if McCaffrey is healthy. So I interviewed Pete Carroll today, and it was just another conversation we had for about 8-9 minutes. I did my best to ask him important questions about practice, evaluation. We dove into the Chargers, asked him about the 66-yard touchdown they gave up on the screen pass, 10 sacks, asked him about Geno. That's it. He's going to speak tomorrow too. But Coach Carroll continues to show up and tell you what he thinks. You don't have to love it. Sometimes you hear things that he didn't say. I've been down that road before, but you can tell he wants to win desperately, and it's not working out well. From his recent press conference, he talked about Greg Olson taking over for these play calling duties that are coming up against the Chargers. Here it is.
No, what I said, no, Greg's going to take over the play call. And, he's got years of experience. He's been a coordinator for 13 years in the league, and we've been together before. He knows me inside and out. And I think it's a really fortunate opportunity that we have a guy that has that much background to step into this role.
I've always liked Greg Olson. He's a capable guy. You're going to have a veteran there. He's not going to be overwhelmed. The clock and the play calling isn't going to be too much for him. But this didn't work at all with Chip Kelly. How's Greg Olson going to fix it? What's he going to do? He's not going to block. He can't run the football. All he can do is call the plays, I think, by getting the ball out quicker, making some adjustments at halftime. Maybe the Raiders have a better chance, and they should get the coordinator bounce. Whenever you fire someone, you normally get a bit of a bounce. Hopefully, Ole can do that. More from Pete Carroll on Olson and how he's a little bit different from Chip.
A long-time NFL coach, long-time play caller, 13 years, and plus connecting him with the philosophy that from where we work together, he's deep into what I'm looking for, and he understands it, and I just help you a little bit and try to help the Chargers in it, but we need to run the ball better, and we need to have the running game available to us. I think I probably mentioned that last week when you need it, short yardage, red zone, goal line, fourth quarter, all of those times that they have historically been when you need to call on it, and then you have to orchestrate your game so that it fits that. And that's why the play passes are so important, the actions are so important, and keeping the quarterback clean and minimizing the distances on third. All of those things are all fit together. So I've been doing it this way for a lot of years, and it's a winning formula for if you play good defense and you kick the ball well. And so we're trying to get that, and we just have not captured it. And so this is what this move is about.
Pete Carroll just told you he has a winning formula if you play defense and kick the ball well. That's some really good content. He just told you how he coaches. That's it. He wants to play good defense with the Legion of Boom. LOB. He had the Legion of Boom. Wants to kick the ball well, make kicks, punt well, and play defense. That's it. That's what he wants to do. That's his philosophy. Run the ball. And Chip Kelly came in after Ohio State where they had 2 1,000-yard rushers. 2. So everyone was like, man, this is pretty cool. They're going to try to do something unique. Run the ball. Ashton Genty. Work a little play action with Brock Bowers. Sounded good. None of it worked. None of it worked. Don't know of an offense I've ever seen struggle more than this version of the Raiders. More from Pete Carroll on keeping the team united coming off such a bad loss to Cleveland.
Well, fortunately, we have a couple of guys or a number of guys in our team that are the leaders that are obvious. And, if you could have heard Max in the locker room yesterday, you would think that these guys are tight and connected and on the same page. And so I'm proud to be able to say that he's a captain on this club, and he and Gino have to speak for us and when they get their chances, but they're not the only ones. And so we're going to fight for every bit that we can for this week and to get a great week together in practice and bring it to the field in LA and play a really good football game to try to get the win we've been looking for. It's just been hard coming.
It's been hard coming. That's true. It's been hard coming overall to get this thing going, and I've been surprised by it. Everybody is. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do other than the fact you got to go out there and get better? You got to practice better. You got to find ways to be in there for your teammates. You got to hustle. Got to hustle a lot. Because everything they're going to do is showing up on film now, everybody. It's showing up on film. If you don't hustle, if you don't pursue the football, if you don't run to chase other players down when they're not near you, it's all going to show up on film, and there's going to be a problem. So week 12 is behind us. Let's take a look at week 13. So as Clay and I mentioned earlier when we started the show, the Packers will play at the Lions. Detroit's a 2.5-point favorite at home against the Packers. Look, I picked the Packers to win the NFC. That's my Super Bowl pick, to lose to Buffalo. Important game. And, Clay, I think it's really important for the Lions because the Lions need to show that they can win and protect their home field. They're 4-1 at home, and the Packers are 3-1 on the road. I just feel that this is a very important game. It reminds me of Detroit, Minnesota last year. Remember the last game? That would have been for the 1 seed or the 5 seed. This got a feel to it. Like if you lose this game, you might not win the division, and you're like just in the wild card hoping to hang around.
Yeah, you got to have that moment in time where you take the lead on a divisional opponent, but then again, take advantage of a Packers team that has one tie on their record. So you get another win that just bodes a little well, and maybe you can ascend and get into that late spot in the wild card.
Yeah, the team they tied is playing in the middle game here. There's 3 games. It'll be 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, right in the middle of our Vegas Thanksgiving. It'll be the Chiefs at the Cowboys. Kansas City's a 3-point favorite on the road. I picked the Cowboys to beat Philadelphia. I'm going to pick the Cowboys here again. I like Dallas in this game. I'm going to ask Jeff Sherman what the line is, where the money's going here. I think the Cowboys are on a mini roll. At times, they're not on mini rolls. They're on one now. I think the Cowboys are playing really good on defense with the additions of their 2 new players, including Quinn and Williams. Dak's coming off a good game. I think their receivers are going to eat up Kansas City on the perimeter. Now, Mahomes will make it interesting for sure, but I like the Cowboys over the Chiefs. And then the late game, 5:20 Pacific time, Bengals-Ravens. Ooh. So Baltimore is the 7-point favorite as we wait on the status of Joe Burrow. He's not playing well when it comes to the play of, I think, the best athlete in the league, Lamar Jackson. This team's rolling, Clay. They haven't lost in quite some time. I think the Ravens win this game. I don't like them covering the spread.
Yeah, it's a 7, and that's kind of robust for a divisional opponent, especially if Burrow does play. But there is a caveat to that. Trey Hendrickson is also out for the Bengals, as well as T. Higgins with a concussion.
There's a lot of guys out there for them. So I just think, as you said, 7 points in a division when it's Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or Baltimore. It's a lot of points to give up. And then we start moving into a Friday game. We got a Friday game, November 28th. Eagles, the dirty, stinking, green, drunk birds, will play the Bears. And the Bears, I like the way they're playing. Philadelphia's a 7-point favorite. Lee Sterling just came on and picked them outright. Outright, he picked the Bears. So you'd like that on the money line. I think the Eagles at home are too tough for Caleb Williams. The weather should be all right, but that's a big number. I think the Eagles win, but they don't cover that spread. The Niner cupcake tiptoe through the tulips season continues with the Niners at the Browns. Shador will play at home. Shador won on the road at Vegas. He's got momentum with the first team reps. And San Francisco -5.5 is that number. Sharp money is coming in on Cleveland there. Jaguars are playing the Titans. I only mentioned that game. If the Jags win, it's their 8th win of the year. Here's a big boy game. Texans and Colts. Indy, 4.5-point favorite at home. Texans, #1 defense. Wow, that's a tough game to pick. Here's why. If the Colts win, they get 9 wins. If they lose, the Texans go to 7-5. The Colts drop. Colts drop to 8-4. They're 1 game behind them. Big game for the Texans if they want to make it to the playoffs. Falcons, Jets, Saints, Dolphins, not a big deal. Cardinals, Buccaneers. Buccaneers need a win. That thing's starting to slip away. Buccaneers are not playing well. Baker Mayfield will get a status of his update here, even though he was in a sling in his non-throwing arm last week. Rams, Panthers. After watching the Panthers last night, I don't see how they could beat the Rams. Rams are laying a big number on the road. Clay, they're laying, get this, the Rams are laying 10.5 on the road to the Panthers. If you take away the Panther game last night, which is the recent eyeball test, don't you think the Panthers at home would be, that would be maybe a 6-7 point favorite here? We're talking about a massive amount of money that the Rams are laying on the road.
Yeah, you would think you would take a little dip into the home team there, especially because sometimes there could be some really awful weather this time of the year in that part of the country. But Matthew Stafford's on a roll, now -220 to be the league's MVP.
I got a lot more games I want to get to, but I see Thor joining us from the Raider Nation Drinking Club. Thor, let's get you up here. How are you, my friend?
JT, what's happening, my brother? Oh man, JT, I'm sick. I'm sick. I really don't know where to go. Normally I have like we need to do this. I don't know where to go, JT, and to the point where I'm ready to just drink and root for the Raiders to win and just root beyond root. I don't know what to do. I just feel like right now the team is struggling. Hopefully the new OC right now will give us a little jolt. I want to win games bad, JT. I always want to win games. And I want to talk to people who call themselves Raider fans out there. If you're a Raider fan, be a Raider fan. Don't be talking crap to it. the people, your quarterback or your coach or your whoever. Be a real fan, or don't say nothing. My mom always said, if you don't have nothing to say, don't say nothing at all. Or don't say nothing at all. Like, we can all be upset and we can all be mad, but when it comes down to it, act like you're a Raider. And I need the Raiders to start acting like they're Raiders. Somehow, some way, find a way. Find out who really wants to be here, JT. I need therapy from you, from real Raider fans for the next whatever weeks we got to go. And figure it out. But let's try to win a couple games in here somehow. Whether it's running the football or whatever we got to do, figure it out, JT, man. But
thanks, Thor.
Nation, let's lean on each other, man.
You got it, Thor. Thank you, man. I'm always here for you. Thank you, man. Have a good Thanksgiving with your family, your wife. Appreciate your support. That's it. Look, everyone who wants to watch a game wants the Raiders to win. The guys who don't want the Raiders to win, who want draft picks, they're delusional. But I get it. Draft picks are going to be the only way to turn this team around. They're going to get a good draft pick, everybody. Calm down. They're going to get a high pick in every round. Okay, they might not get the first pick overall. If you want them to get the first pick overall, they need to lose out. You won't find that talk here on this show because we want to go week by week. And then when the season's over, we'll take the pick wherever it is and find out what's going to happen with it. Open line for you. What's the big change you want to see? What's that one change that you want to see coming up here as Jeff Sherman will join us next? We will hear from Jeff Sherman, or we'll get him up here now, Clay, if you want, because Jeff Sherman's ready to go right now. If you want to come in after that, 702-365-9200 is the number. And, yeah, no tanking, as someone's saying that here, no tanking. Because tanking, Max doesn't tank and Bowers doesn't tank. So we have a new audience every day. You sound ridiculously ignorant and stupid if you would say tank knowing Brock Bowers is on this team. Then you must not know Brock Bowers is on the team. Then you might walk around and just say, okay, I want to lose every game. No, and then I would stop you and say, no, Brock Bowers is on the team. He doesn't want to tank and quit. He wants to win. And you will have no answer to that. You'll have no answer to that. You'll just have to sit back and go, all right, you're right. Because NFL players and coaches don't leave. You think Greg Olsen wants to tank? As he gets an opportunity now to pick these games and pick the team up and call the plays, I think he wants to win. Jeff Sherman, the VP of Risk Management, joins us over at the Westgate. And Jeff, ahead of time, happy Thanksgiving. How does that affect your team over there with three important big matchups that are on the card on Thursday?
Yeah, thanks. You too, JT. And it will be a busy Thursday. We got a lot leading up to it. We have tons of college basketball games today, tomorrow. College football Thursday night. So the team will be doing a lot of extra work this week.
Where's the money coming in with Lions and Packers here? I saw 2.5 with the Lions here. The Packers, the team I picked to win the NFC, but they have that tie on their schedule. Jordan Love didn't play great in the last game. And there's a lot of confusion about how the Lions are calling plays going forward.
Yeah, we had opened the Lions as a 3-point favorite, and it's been bet down to 2.5. Right. So the sharps early on the Packers on that one.
Okay, we move on to the Chiefs and the Cowboys. This is interesting to me because Cowboys laying the 3.5 here. Chiefs coming in, and Cowboys are getting 3.5 here. Chiefs laying 3.5. I like the way the Cowboys are playing. I was on the right side with my feel on the game against Philadelphia, and Kansas City had to come back from the dead. But I really think the Cowboys have figured it out defensively and got that going.
Yeah, and this is a game that we opened the Chiefs 3.5, and we have been bet down to -3, -116 on the Chiefs. And if you want to relate this, the Eagles line closed 3 at Dallas, and right now we have the Eagles slightly power rated higher than the Chiefs. So anything over 3 looks like a little bit of value on Dallas.
How hard's it been, or just looking at the Ravens side of it now with Lamar Jackson, who's off a little bit. He's missed some time this year, and there's questions with Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia's offense, and now that's rearing its head with the Ravens. We're waiting on the Joe Burrow decision. Trey Hendrickson's out. I just don't know what Bengals team is going to show up as the Ravens are laying a big number.
Yeah, this is a tough game because, like you mentioned, Lamar Jackson dealing with a lot of injuries, so he's not 100%. And on the Bengals side, Joe Burrow is expected to play, but they're missing T. Higgins and Hutchinson, and so this line has been. It opened 7, and it's been bet down where the dog is -120 right now on the Bengals. So -7 even on Baltimore.
The Rams odds to win the Super Bowl and how that is shaping up here as of late, where the Rams are really taking care of business in the regular season. As of today, we're mostly confident that they're playing for the best record in all of football, which would give them a commanding advantage with a home bye week and then home field advantage.
Yeah, they're overwhelmingly the number one power rated team. And last week they were at 9-2 for the Super Bowl. This week it's 7-2. And Eagles' second choice is 7-1. So that's some wide separation there. And you look at the point spreads now with the Rams laying 10.5 at Carolina. Big number there. You're going to start to see that the rest of the way. Really big spreads with the Rams.
Jeff Sherman, I want to ask you about the Eagles and the Bears here. A lot of heat coming down in Philadelphia. Eagles laying a touchdown here. Bears playing well. They're on a roll right now. I think Caleb's playing better, but always a hostile environment playing at the end of November, let alone into December in Philly.
Yeah, the rare Friday night game.
Mm-hmm.
And we had opened this one just like the Ravens-Bengals. We opened this one Eagles 7 flat against the Bears. And it's been bet a little bit on the Bears side to +7 -120 on Chicago.
What happened with Shedeur playing the Raiders and people betting bettors betting Cleveland on the money line, or just Cleveland to cover that spread? The Raiders played another terrible game. Looked like free money for those Cleveland bettors.
Yeah, initially we had a lot of Raider support from 3 up to 4, and then on game day it really avalanched down back to 3. And like you said, money line support for Cleveland, and the book was in a position where we needed the Raiders. So the bettors did really well with that game.
As we wrap it up here on the NFL side going forward here, I'm just impressed overall with the Niners. But when you handicap the Niners with that schedule, it seems like the schedule's giving them an opportunity to get on a roll. Brock Purdy had 3 interceptions in the game in the first half last night. They needed McCaffrey to help him out and cover him.
Yeah, no doubt. And they have had a favorable schedule, and they play at Cleveland. And this one had opened 6.5. After last night's game, though, it's been bet down to 4.5 for the Niners at Cleveland this week. So we continue to see support against the 49ers from the Sharp.
Jeff, tell me about this Capital One Skins game and how good you are at golf and handicapping golf. A pretty good group of players there, from Keegan Bradley, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, and Xander Schauffele. But we want more competitive golf later in the year when a lot of these golfers shut it down.
Yeah, this thing should be competitive. It does start at 6 a.m. on Friday morning our time, so early start if you want this. This is a tough format because the skins carry over. We haven't seen this in quite a many years on the PGA Tour, but Fleetwood is a +250 favorite along with Xander Schauffele, Lowry at +300, Bradley at +300. So a little bit of Friday morning action, and it's whoever wins the most money comes away with the most skins on that aspect, and a new thing they're reviving.
And let me ask you also about college basketball, this Players Era tournament in Vegas. Pretty good matchups here with Alabama, UNLV, Houston, Tennessee. This is a nice way to get more interest here in Vegas, get people over to the Westgate if they're not going to the game, or at least look at the price before they head over.
Oh, no doubt. We've seen a lot of support for the local tournament this week, and it's like basically a mini NCAA tournament as far as the strength of the field goes. And we've definitely seen an uptick in the betting handle. So it's a great event leading up to Thanksgiving.
All right. And then last thing, how did F1 do overall? Did you enjoy it? Was the handle any different than you expected? Anything you can add to that?
Our handle was slightly down from last year, but the ticket count was up. So there's a lot of interest from small wagers on it. But it felt like the event went a lot smoother this year from a betting perspective. And anytime the favorites win, the short favorites, the book is going to do pretty well because people like to bet F1 taking the long shot. Plenty of drivers, 100 to 1 up to 1,000 to 1. Usually that's where our liability lies. So anytime a favorite wins the F1, we usually do pretty well.
Awesome, Jeff. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Greatly appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, JT.
That's Jeff Sherman. We're reminding you, if you're coming to Vegas, head on out to the Westgate. That is the sharpest sports book in the world. And he takes all those bets, all those sports, and it's a good vibe in there. A lot of sharps, a lot of the public looking for the sharps over at the Westgate. Clay, how many times have you roamed the Westgate in the morning, coming to work and seeing a whole bunch of sharps coming by? We made a little bag of cash to place a bet down there because they know they're getting the sharp lines.
Oh, they are. They start out early as soon as Sunday night occurs, when those lines roll out, and next thing you know, by Wednesday they have everything crafted out. And what I love are the sharps with the big money that move the lines to manipulate them to go to 3.5 so they can take 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big part over there. So every Monday night on my show on Sirius XM, I do a thing called 3 Up, 3 Down. And I wanted to play that here. Why not? It's me. I'm not cheating. It's me doing the content here. These are the 3 best stories in the NFL from week 12 and the 3 worst. This is 3 Up, 3 Down. 3 Up, 3 down, the best 3 performances and what I deem are the 3 worst. 3 up, we start with Jackson Smith and Jigba. 8 receptions, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Seahawks radio.
Play fake this time to Walker. Sam throws. Got a man in the back of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Seahawks. Man, what's that? 3 plays? JSN makes the catch in the back of the end zone from 13 out.